We'll begin with the 121st Psalm of David. Shir lamalot esainai el harim me'ayin yavo ezeri. Ezeri me'im Adonai osei shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamot raglecha, al yanum shamrecha, hine lo yanum, velo yishan, shomer Yisrael. Adonai shamrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yeminecha, yomam hashemesh, Lo yakeka ve'yareach b'halayla. Adonai yishmorcha mikora yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmor tzeitcha uvoecha me'ata ve'ad olam. I turn my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help comes from Adonai, our God, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your guardian will not slumber. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps, because God is your protection, a guardian at your right hand. By day the sun will not strike you, nor the moon by night. Adonai will guard you from all harm and guard your life, just as Adonai guards your going and coming, now and forever. In our scriptures, particularly a book that we know as Ecclesiastes, in Hebrew we call this book Kohelet, it says that the eye never has its fill of seeing. Even if you're 100 years old and you depart this life, you haven't completed all of your tasks. How we would yearn to have Bess with us for another respite, for another challenge in our lives, another joy, another precious moment together. We ask God to be with the family whose hearts are still broken, because whenever the parting comes, it still seems too soon. We ask God to console the family, to be near to them when light seems distant, and to sustain them until the time of healing. Bess's passing is far from tragic. She lived a beautiful life. And we're going to hear some words about her life from the family, beginning with granddaughters Jade. We're going to start with Brennan, grandson Brennan, followed by Jade, and then Ella. And then we'll hear from the three boys, from Lauren, Allan, and Gary. Brennan?
You didn't hear me? I didn't prepare much, but there is something I've been thinking about over the last couple days that I think is very apt. Is a weird way to phrase this, but I think everyone in the room will get it. I don't think anyone has succeeded at life more than Bubby or Bess. Unequivocally, start to finish, kind, sweet, smart, generous, hair put together, dressed up to the nines, perfect all the time, better than the best grandparent that you saw in like a TV show, unlimited wisdom, sayings, you are what you eat, don't throw away dirty unless you have clean, shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you land on a star, just endless. I've never seen, nor will I think I'll get the chance to see someone succeed at life in the way she did all the time. Unequivocally, to the point where if someone had a problem with Bubby, there was a problem with that person. Hands down, no question. If someone came up to you and said, oh, I don't like, you knew to stay away from that person. Because it wasn't her, it was them. So I thought about this a lot, and the thing that I'm going to miss the most is just having the ability to spend time with a woman like that. So I love her very much, and I'm going to miss her a lot.
Jade? Use the mic, get close to it.
Okay. I'm Jade, Lauren's daughter, and Bess. Sorry. Lauren's daughter and Bess's granddaughter. My favorite Bubby memory, which I think embodies who she was to me and my sister Ella, was when she came to Kapuna Day, or Grandparents' Day, with Zeta Max to our Montessori school on Maui. I was in 3rd grade and Ella just in 1st. Every year there was a Kapuna Day bake sale. That year, Bubby made her famous Mandelbrot, with our assistance, of course. She told Zeta she didn't think they'd sell that many, because maybe not that many people on our small island knew about the Jewish delicacy. Well, in typical Bubby fashion, they sold out almost immediately. As some of you may know, my dad and mom moved to Maui in 1983. Even though we grew up thousands of miles from the Direnfeld flock in Toronto, Bubby made sure we knew the meaning and feeling of unconditional love. She accepts us for who we are and has welcomed all members of our modern family with an open heart. We never missed the love and care of a grandma. She made the long 11-hour flights to Maui as often as her and Zeta could. Her love spans distance and time, and I will always carry her love with me. She set the bar high for all who follow, and I just hope to keep making her proud of the woman I become.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Ella. So it's no secret that our Bubby's baking was legendary. Her Mandelbrot was and will always be the best, holding a special place in my heart, and Jade's as well. I'll always cherish the memories of her many trips to Maui with Zeta Max, where she taught us how to bake, but we would also go on fun adventures like feeding the neighborhood horses and catching butterflies. Baking was one of her love languages, a gift she passed on to me, and I'm sure many others. I loved baking with my Bubby. I remember one time in particular when we were baking Mandelbrot for the school bake sale, and we were singing the donkey song as we worked, and Zeta Max had to cut the Mandelbrot because the knife was way too big for us. The hardest part was always waiting for them to be ready, but it was well worth it. And beyond the kitchen, Bubby's love extended to every corner of her life. She taught us the importance of family, of kindness, and giving without expectation. She had an incredible way of making everyone feel special, whether you were a neighbor, family, or even a stranger. I hope to become half the amazing woman she was and bake Mandelbrot that would give Bubby a run for her money.
Now we'll hear some words from Lauren, followed by Allan, and then Gary.
I thought I'd give you some special insights into my mother that only a firstborn son can do. I hope I make it through this. My mother was a very special person, like a rare gem. I'm the firstborn and a boy. It had its pluses and minuses, but mostly pluses. On the plus side, I got a lot of cool toys from my doting parents, from my red pull wagon and red tricycle to the pedaled Jeep car. On the minus side, my mother and father had to learn on me by trial and error, and my brothers got the benefit of that. Many of you know about my mother's life of service to others and her support of Israel. What most people don't know about is how my mother was extremely brave. Again, being the first allowed me to witness these things firsthand. For example, I was the first son she taught about the birds and the bees. One day when I was 11, I came home from school and told my mother a joke I heard that day. It had the F word in it. She asked if I knew what that meant. I really didn't. So she began to tell me how babies were made. I found it really hard to believe. I mean, I heard about it a couple of years earlier when I was 9 from my best friend, Gary Budd. But I didn't believe it. Too far-fetched. A few days later, she supplemented her talk with a book aimed at kids my age. It was still hard to get my mind around, at least for a while. Another major act of bravery was teaching me to drive. Again, I was the first. I can't emphasize enough how brave she was. This point was strongly driven home when my father tried driving with me. I remember I just turned 16. I had my learner's permit. My birthday is in July, so we were at the cottage. My main memory of our drives together was him bracing himself against the dash with his arms extended in front and his eyes wide open. This is real. I would say that did not show a lot of confidence. Okay, this was in the pre-seatbelt era, but still. I can hear my mother's voice as I was approaching an intersection, about to turn left and thinking, should I wait for the traffic to pass or just go? The traffic was still some distance away, and she said, "He who hesitates is lost." She gave me good and brave advice. That was how my mother was. Truly good, brave, strong, open-minded, giving, and loving. She has been an inspiration to me as a person and a parent. I am so fortunate to have had such a wonderful, amazing, loving, caring, and supportive mom. She has been a great role model for so many and will live in our hearts.
Just a point of order. Being the second born wasn't so bad. Because when Lauren was finished with stuff, I got the wagon. I got the Jeep. My mother, Bess Plosker, Bess Direnfeld Plosker, Bess Direnfeld, known by so many names, was beautiful and gracious, kind and supportive, funny and humble, brilliant and insightful, even to her last moments with us. For me personally, she was a superstar. like my father Edel and my stepdad Max, she set the bar high for compassion, charity, and service to community. Bess put the needs of others ahead of her own and dedicated 75 years to Na'amat and the state of Israel, and the mentorship of hundreds of women in our community. And with all that, she was a sensitive, loving mother to my brothers, Lauren and Gary, and to me, to her grandchildren, Brennan, Jade, Ella, and my daughter Shayna, and her great-grandchildren, Sai, Mia, Bodhi, and to our partners in life, Marlene, Mariana, Arlene, Isha, and Will. And let's not forget Panda, Kugel, Finn, Sydney, and Soba. I can speak for my wife Marlene and my daughter Shayna, both of whom had a close and loving relationship with Bess, when I say that our family is all that we are because of the inspiration and the guidance that my mother has provided. As Mom chose her path in life, she chose the manner and the timing of her departure. Bess even suggested that we opt for graveside service, just to keep things simple. And I told her for that to happen, she had to wait until at least April. We laughed a little about it, but knowing that her rapidly declining health did not leave that option open, and knowing that Mom's passing was imminent, my brothers and I and our children and their children were able to spend several days together with Mom in advance of her passing. Together we celebrated, reminisced, recalled great memories, some funny and some not so funny. And we mourned together the inevitable change in our lives as we counted down the days, all with Mom's unbelievably brave and unwavering support. Bess Direnfeld Plosker, in her many roles in life, all of which she cherished and all of which she excelled in, as a mom, bubby, grandma, grandbubby, wife, auntie, sister, leader, mentor, friend, neighbor, and person. She set an example for us all. Mom is well known for her messages of hope, her messages of positivity, all that she brought to this world. And as a family, we do not want to see those messages lost with her passing. I want to share with you again, as I shared with you on the occasion of her 100th birthday, the guiding principles that she espoused. Wake up every morning with a purpose. No one said life would be easy. You have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You need to spread love, not hate. Be kind. Be compassionate, understanding, empathetic, and forgiving. Know when you are fortunate. Appreciate what you have. Show your gratitude. Be charitable. Be supportive. Volunteer for the benefit and betterment of others. Be the best person you can be. Recognize and appreciate the charity of others. Surround yourself with good people who are uplifting and positive. Be close to your family. Be proud of your family. Continue to learn. Embrace change. Work at staying healthy. And let's not forget, you are what you eat. But I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Bess's message for her last few moments on earth was simple in words, but somewhat more complex in execution. Mom told us that she loved us all and it would be okay to be sad, but not too sad, and not to dwell on her passing. She told us again, as she had told us the entire week leading up to her passing, that she had lived a long and wonderful life. She did everything she wanted to do. She had a wonderful family, the best. They loved and supported each other. The brothers were very close. You should know that. And we loved each and every one of our kids. She had us all together in one room. We could see that she was already in a peaceful place, her life and her passing resolved. And so I take you back to "You are what you eat." It was only a few weeks previously that my brother Gary and I met with Mom and her doctor, the remarkable Dr. Martin Rudnick, to whom we are deeply indebted. And when we met with him, we received Mom's diagnosis. After having undergone some tests, we knew what the outcome would be. It was at that point that Mom's prognosis became so clear, and clear to her, that she decided in the very same moment that treatment at her age was not part of the plan. With that, my brother Gary took Mom to lunch. And while deciding what to eat, remember my mother's mantra, Gary told her that it was clear that the choice had broadened substantially, as what she might eat would no longer be determinative of the days left in her life, but would be determinative of the pleasure that she might experience in the time that remained. And over the course of a few weeks that followed, she enjoyed and we shared a variety of meals that brought back wonderful memories. French fries brought us back to the days when Mom would take me roller skating at Mutual Arena, for those of you who remember that. I was maybe 10 or 11 years old. Macaroni and cheese, one of my daughter's favorite meals. A hamburger like we used to get on the drive to the cottage. A slice of pizza, and her love of Coca-Cola. They all brought back something special. And as I think back on those meals with Mom, the hours we spent talking, and her wish that we not be too sad, I began to appreciate even more the principles by which she lived and the simple message that underlies them all. For you to live a better life, a life fulfilled, you must live a life that creates positive memories for as many other hearts and lives as you can touch. Spread love, not hate. And to do that, you must do more than just speak the words. You must embrace the cause and wake up every day with that purpose and a plan to improve the lives of others, not just at home, but every place where you may have an impact. It is the role that my mother, Bess Direnfeld Plosker, has played in uplifting and improving the lives of others, and the inspiration that she has instilled in so many to be the best people they can be. That is the legacy that my mother, my beautiful, wonderful, gracious mother, Bess Direnfeld Plosker, leaves to us. And you should know, this is very important, that she had her hair done just a few days prior to her passing. Thank you, Lawrence. And that her passing was peaceful, and it was pain-free, and she was surrounded by family in a room full of love. It doesn't get any better. Mom, I'll always love you. I'll always miss you. And I will always strive to honor your legacy.
So Lauren got the first sex education lesson. The way Mom explained it in the telling of the story, that, when she sat down with Lauren, she said, Lauren always wanted to be a doctor. He took it very seriously. I said, yeah? What about Allan? Oh, he laughed through the whole thing. I said, Mom, I don't actually recall you giving me the talk. Why didn't you give it to me? She said, you had 2 older brothers. I recognized a few years ago that I could share Mom. And I asked her, would you do a video with me? Could we post it to Facebook? I have 24,000 followers. And she says, what'll we talk about? I said, it doesn't matter. We can talk about anything. And so we did our first video, which I reposted recently. And it's the one where she talks about wanting to go to Mars. She would get more hits than I ever could. We did 43 videos together in the space of 5 years. And as you've heard, her mottos, each video ended with spread love, not hate. Years before that, she wanted a computer, got her a laptop. She wanted to be on Facebook, put her on Facebook. She was COVID came along, and all the meetings that she would still attend in her 90s went online. Got her set up on Zoom, and she managed it all. She was as modern a person at 100 as any of us were at whatever age. Truly remarkable. To demonstrate how remarkable she is, I'm here. And I say that because, Lauren was great at school, Allan was great at school, and they were good kids. The shit I put her through. Never spanked. I don't know about you, Lauren, because, you were the test pilot. But I deserved it, but it never happened. So patient a woman, a parent, a mother. Her lessons are boundless. In her preparing to pass, she met with her great-grandkids. One-on-one. She didn't have the koyach, the strength, to meet with them together at that point. But one-on-one she did. It was a master class on saying goodbye to a young child. She held each child and extolled their virtues to them, her love for them, their value in the universe. Seven, 5, and 2, in her grasp, soaking that in. Her gifts to each and every one of us. So remarkable. In her passing, as my brother mentioned, her concerns were for us, not to dwell, not to be stuck in our grief. We made sure that it was okay for a day or two. We said, we're going to have to grieve, Mom. We can't escape this. It's our love for you. She gave us 2 or 3 days. And then in her truly most final of moments, my brothers and I touching her, and our kids and spouses with us in that moment as she passed peacefully. She managed her exit and her passing as she managed her life, fully in control, fully with concern for others and all of you here. She could mention all of you by name, and with a heart still full of love. My mother.
It's too bad that it's a family that doesn't like the hug. You know, I used the word zechut, means merit, to have known Bess for over 20 years now. I was sitting and I just was thinking about that, and it seemed like just a few moments, days. Celebrating good times, a Pesach Seder together, I'll never forget it. Shabbat meals, holidays, Hanukkah, latkes. I don't think I've ever been to a funeral service where I've heard the word Mandelbrot mentioned 11 times. Just as creation, as the world was born, came the words Vayihi Or, let there be light. And so the mitzvah of Hanukkah began with the lighting of candles. And all of the mitzvahs that we do, especially the one with the lighting of candles, may be further elaborated on a basis of the special quality of that mitzvah of shedding light, imparting light to others. And all of the commandments and all of the mitzvot and deeds of loving kindness that you do in this world have an effect that is not always discernible to the physical eye. You can't always see them or touch them. But they produce something special if you perform them. For example, Allan mentioned the mitzvah of tzedakah, of giving. It doesn't mean money. It means first of your time. Even if you're 100, the time that you spend with others is the most valuable commodity that you have, because you can't buy that. If you could, we'd work all of our lives like Allan. You have to work because you love it, but you also have to understand that when you share your time with others, that's the most precious thing you have. Bess was an expert at sharing her time. It wasn't that long ago that I was talking to Marlene, and she said, Shane is making Mandelbrot. And then I heard it here. Well, she wasn't making Mandelbrot? Well, she was making something. Beef barley soup. The point is that I heard all of the delicacies and the foods that she was able to enjoy in the last week or so, and I was thinking about, why are we waiting? Have that kishka tonight. You know, with the ideals that she shared and learned and shared with others, of all the years, decades, many decades, that she volunteered and worked with Namat, one of the things that Namat women pledge is to enhance and safeguard the status of women, children, and families in Israel and Canada. But one of the other things is to inspire our youth with Zionism and a sense of social justice. That really is who Bess was. When we light the candles at Hanukkah time, there is a debate among our sages, Hillel and Shammai. They took opposing views. And Shammai said, we will light the candles, and he said this to all of his disciples, 8 candles on the first day, and each night will diminish until we have 1 candle left, because we're sad to say goodbye to Hanukkah, just as we're sad today to say goodbye to Bobby, to Bess. But we don't do that, do we? We follow the school of Hillel. We begin with 1 candle, 1 mitzvah, 1 act of kindness, 1 act of generosity. In those videos, and I watched them all, Gary, one of them, if not all of them, always said, join something, be part of something, volunteer with something. In that voice, actually. That's the way she talked, with great brightness and enthusiasm. So we light the candles 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 candles on the last night because of 2 words. Words that I really shared moments ago with the grandchildren, and those words are ma'alin b'kodesh, to rise up in holiness. Bess made every single day of her life count. And that's what we learned from her. Ma'alin b'kodesh, if you light the candles 1 to 8, on the last day you're full ablaze. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to remember Bess with fire, with the beauty of all of the candles lit, and continue to rise even above that. Ma'alin b'kodesh, to rise up in holiness, to keep her name holy, to keep her a place in your hearts forever. I believe that when our sages tell us that there is a place in the world to come for all of us, and then they give us a long list of mitzvahs to perform. Bess has earned her place 1,000 times over. I don't think there's a day that went by. In fact, I was there to be able to celebrate, and we roped in ourselves to sing and to play and to participate in that beautiful birthday party at 100. And even that she turned into a fundraiser for Namat. Everything she did, she took the opportunity to say, what can we do to not separate ourselves from the community, but to actually be part of the community? And that's what we learned from her. Let's continue to do that. And Bess's beauty will shine upon us. And lastly, I just want to say it's very fitting that she passed away on Hanukkah, because the commandment of lighting candles is not for us inside. Although we do have the beauty of the light on the inside, we are commanded to put them in a window for the outside so that the world will be a brighter place, especially in the darkened world that we often live in. Let's think of Bess brightly in our hearts and continue in her ways. Tihi nishmata tzura b'tzor hachayim. May her sweet and good soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal, and may she rest in peace. I'll ask you to please rise for the memorial prayer. El malei rachamim, shochein b'meromim, hametzei menucha nechona al kanfei hashchina, b'mahalot kedoshim, kedoshim uteorim, kezohar arakia mazehiri et nishamat berol bazalmen vechana shalecha leolama began eden tevnuchata ana bal rachamim hastirea beseter kenafecha leolamim Utzeror bitzeror hachayim enishmata Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Amen. O God exalted and full of compassion, grant perfect peace in your sheltering embrace among all of the holy and the pure souls, to Beryl Bat Zalman V'chana, Bess Direnfeld Plosker, who has gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you to remember all of the mitzvot, all of the deeds of kindness that Bess performed in this land of the living. May your soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May she rest in peace as we say together, Amen. Interment will now take place at the Pardes Shalom Cemetery. That's the cemetery on Dufferin Street North.